Now let's look at some examples of different ways to read from a file. Since our file exists, if we open the file in read mode, we can print the contents to the console, which is what I have here. I'm opening the file with the read mode, and I am calling the print function and passing in file.read, which is going to return all the contents of our example.txt. And when I run this, I get the output hello world, appending additional content and appending even more content. If I hover over the read method, you'll see that it takes an argument for size. And what this does is says how many characters we want to get from the file. So if I pass in a 5 and run this again, we'll see that I get the output hello. Now, whenever you call a readline, or readlines method, they start wherever the handle currently is in the file. So if in the same with block you were to call file.read with 5 for size multiple times, it will keep returning the next 5 characters from where the previous read method left off until the end of the file. So if I go in here and I modify my print statements and add a few more, I'm going to run this and we'll see that I get first 5 is hello, second 5 is the comma, the space, and then WOR. Third 5 is LD and exclamation point, and then there's a line skipped and a capital A. And then the fourth 5 is PPEND. What you should take note of is this one here. And what happened was this reached the end of the first line. So the characters that it got back was L, D, the exclamation point, and then the new line character. And using file.read, it registers that new line character and includes it. And as you can see, it pushed the A down to the next line. Another way that we could read from a file is by using the readline method to read one line at a time. So if I go ahead and replace this code, I will open the example file and print file.readline. And this is going to return the first line of the file since I did not pass in a limit. And when I run this, we'll get the output of hello world. The same thing that happened with the read method would happen with the read line method if we passed a limit into it, except it will not continue to the next line if it reaches the end of the current line. So I'm going to modify my print statements here. And this time when I run it, you'll see that I get the first 5 is hello, the second 5 is the comma space WOR, third 5 is LD exclamation point, and then I get the blank space, but then the fourth 5 is APPEN. And the reason being is this third 5 included LD exclamation and then the new line character, and that's why we have this blank line here, but it did not go to the next line until our fourth call of the readline method. Another way that we can read data from a file is using the readlines method, which returns a list containing the strings of each line in the file. So if I go ahead and replace this code, this time I will print file.readlines. This has an S on it. And if I hover over, it takes an argument of a hint. And if I run this, I'll get this list containing hello world and the new line character, appending additional content in the new line character, and then just appending even more content and no new line character because there is not a fourth line in this file. And if I hover over this real quick and we look at this hint argument that it takes, the best way that I can describe how this works is if I put a number in there, it is going to start wherever the handle currently is and go that many characters into the file and return all the lines that it encountered while going to that character. This does not count the new line characters that are at the end of some lines. For example, hello world has 13 characters in it, so any number I put in up to 13 will only return the first line, hello world. But if I put in any numbers from 14 to 43, it will get the first 2 lines, and anything over 43 will return all 3 lines. And this is assuming that I only make one call to read lines with each time that I open the file. So if I passed in a 13 here, we'll see that I get the hello world in my list with the new line character. And if I passed in a 43 here and run that, we'll see that I get the hello world with the new line character and appending additional content with the new line character. And if I put in 44 and run that, I get all 3 lines from the file. And since the read line starts where the handle currently is in the file and returns the entire line where the hint is, if I call read lines 3 times with the same with open statement, but only passed 1 in each time, I would get back a different line in each list. So if I modify my print statement here and run this, we'll we'll see that for first read lines, I got the first line in the file. Second read lines, I got the second line in the file. And third read lines, I got the third line in the file. Since these methods for working with files, reading to them, writing to them, appending them, start wherever the handle currently is in the file, there is a way to manually move the handle for these operations. There is a built-in seek method that you can use to move the handle to a specific location in the file. So if I wanted to do something like print just the word world with the exclamation point, I could use the seek method to set it to start before the 7th character and only print 6 characters. So if I were to change this code under the with open statement to file.seek7, this will put my handle before the 7th character and then print 7th character seek and pass in file.read and tell it to read the 6 characters from where the current handle is and run that. We'll see that I get 7th character seek and I get this output of world with the exclamation point. And I also just want to point out that this does work with other file types other than text files. So if I were to change this file extension to docx, which is a Word document, change my mode to write, and then here change file.seek to file.write and just pass it in hello and run this. It will create a new document called example.docx, and you can see that next to it, it has the Word logo. And if I open it up, it has the content hello in it. That's it for this video. In the next video, we will look at how to use read-write operations with comma separated value or CSV files.